Hello, I'm Drowning in Balls, as of right now. I'm very new to the YouTube scene, and arguably late too, but I'm of the opinion that it's never too late to share your thoughts. Now, the Outlast Trials has become something of a fixation of mine for about a year now. I joined the therapy around the tail end of Project Lupara, aka Season 1, and I'm currently sitting at 583 trials completed, 23 rebirths, 3 relapses, and an escalation peak of 43. I'm certainly not the best player, and I don't have quite as much experience as some people, but I think it's fair to say that I know my way around the game. And so, I've decided to make a series to share my experience with you folks. For those of you who don't already know, amps are unlockable perks that you can purchase with tickets from doors in the sleep room. There are 3 categories of amps: tool, skill, and medicine amps. You can only equip one of each category at a time. And for those who already did know this, you may be thinking, why not cover rigs first? You unlock them before amps. Well, you see, it's because I wanted to. Dummy? Doofus? Trying to dictate my video? Anyways, as of writing this script, there are 27 amps in the game, and I'm going to go over each one and rank them on 2 scales of 5, magnitude and versatility. Magnitude will refer to the peak performance of the amp, how effectively it can assist you in the perfect conditions. Versatility will refer to how often you'll be able to use the amp in those good conditions. The higher these scales are, the more powerful the amp is. The combined scales will determine what tier the amp lands in. I'm sure you're all familiar with what a tier list is. 0 to 1 points will be F tier, 2 to 3 will be D tier, 45 will be C tier, 6 to 7 will be B tier, 8 to 9 will be A tier, and a perfect 10 points will join the VIP lounge of S tier. But before we begin, I'd like to preface with this. I'm not an objective source of information, and my opinions are my own. Educated opinions, yes, but still just opinions. And secondly, this is being written during Season 4, Diarchy, and there's an upcoming update, Project Invasion, which may make this video outdated and or obsolete. But whatever, I'll deal with it if that comes up. And with that, let's begin. Starting with the first of the tool amps, we have Slippers. With these equipped, you are prevented from making noise, which attracts enemies, when walking or crouching over shattered glass. Additionally, it prevents glass from cutting you if the sharp glass barrier is active. This amp definitely caters to new players who haven't learned how to avoid noise traps yet, and players who favor a stealthy approach in their trials. While glass is scattered everywhere over every single trial environment to date, it's also always accompanied by a nearby prop which you can vault over. Who would have guessed that an unlockable would be outclassed by a base kit feature? That being said, that doesn't make Slippers useless. You'll still save stamina walking over glass, and you won't injure yourself by jumping if you're carrying an acid bucket, which is very relevant in courthouse trials, namely, destroy the evidence. I'll be giving Slippers a 2 out of 5 in magnitude, and a 2 out of 5 in versatility. While you could make use of them literally anywhere and any time, there's not much reason to, outside of pretty specific circumstances. These will land Slippers in the C tier. Next up, we have Cacophony. While equipped, thrown bottles and bricks become louder, making for better distractions. Now personally, I don't have a ton of experience with this amp, but any time I have tried to use it, it's been a bit underwhelming. I believe the intention was for bricks to have the noise range of bottles, and for bottles to have even more range, but it's never quite as much range as you'd like. Additionally, if you end up using a brick or bottle in self-defense, there's the drawback of potentially attracting more enemies than you would have without equipping the amp. Cacophony will be getting a 2 out of 5 in magnitude, purely for the innate strength of distractions in this game, and a 1 out of 5 in versatility, sending it to D tier. Veterans of this game should already be very well familiar with this next one, noise reduction. With this amp, your running and door opening volume and noise range are halved. This means that running draws the same amount of attention as walking. Now you might be thinking, oh wow, that sounds like a pretty powerful effect, but surely there's some sort of condition to balance it out? Wrong! You're just permanently quieter. This means you'll escape chases faster, you'll trigger screamers and noise gates less often, and you can save a ton of time just moving around the map faster with minimal risk. Frankly, I think noise reduction could use a nerf. Maybe it could be tied to having above half stamina? But as of right now, there should be no question that its magnitude is a 5 out of 5, and its versatility is also at a 5 out of 5. It'll be on the throne of S tier. Moving on, we have Battery Charger. As long as you're not using your night vision goggles, your battery will automatically recharge. I'm just gonna be blunt here, this thing is a total noob trap. The rate at which it recharges is insanely slow, and unless you're careless with your usage, in most trials you won't even go below half battery. Not to mention batteries aren't exactly hard to find. Plus, both the X-ray rig and stun rig recharge your night vision. In fact, you don't even have to equip the stun rig yourself, just have a teammate bring it, and you'll be fine. Really, the only time you'll get any value out of this is if you're on Escalation or Trial Maker, it's a long and difficult trial, a variator which prevents batteries from spawning is active, and the map is mostly dark. The planets would have to align for all of this to come together, and otherwise, you may as well have an empty amp slot. 0 out of 5 magnitude for Battery Charger, and a 1 out of 5 for versatility. Welcome to F tier, population 1, for now. Now we'll talk about Lockbreaker. Throwing a brick at a padlock will break it and damage the brick in the process. This is actually surprisingly useful, especially in MK challenges. You never know when you're going to find a locked container or door, and I'd rather not scour the map for that tiny little lockpick. It's an incredibly convenient amp, giving you more loot for less effort. There is one little caveat. It's not an amazing idea to use it on a main trial, as main trials always spawn a secret room, which always contain a master key. A master key can unlock every padlock with no cooldown, no durability, or other condition to limit it. It's an infinite use lockpick. It'd be a waste to have 2 lock-breaking abilities when you only need 1, but otherwise this is a very solid amp. A 4 out of 5 in both magnitude and versatility. Lockbreaker will be an A tier. Next up is Recycle. After drinking a medicine bottle, you can use the bottle as a throwable. Before we talk about how useful it is, isn't it kind of weird that Regents don't already do this? Like, why do you have to pay Doris to learn how to not immediately drop a valuable improvised weapon? Like, there's nothing physically stopping you from just holding on to it. Whatever. I'd call Recycle another amp catered to newer players, in that it rewards you for making mistakes, or from another perspective, it helps you correct your mistakes. Either way, while bottles are useful, you should really aim for not being hurt in the first place. I could maybe see this having value if the no throwable items variator is active, but it's not like you'd be lost without it either. I'm gonna give Recycle a 3 in magnitude, and 2 in versatility, and it's going to be in C tier. Before we move on though, I want to note that this amp only gets such a high rating due to the innate power of bottles, and not the amp itself. Moving on, we have Keymaster. While equipped, when you grab a lockpick, it upgrades, making it instantly unlock padlocks, and giving it a second charge. Wait, didn't we just talk about an amp which specializes in breaking locks? What's the point of this one then? I'm glad you asked, actually. By giving teammates your upgraded lockpicks, or taking one from them in order to upgrade it for them, you can effectively share this amp with all your friends. Not to mention, this also has an edge above Lockbreaker, and then you won't have to waste valuable bricks. But still, even with these strengths, spending an inventory slot on a lockpick instead of a brick leaves you a bit more vulnerable, and using a lockpick will also be slower than using a brick. Finally, in most trials, there won't even be that many locks to warrant doubling your uses, except in the case of the locked items variator. However, there are pros and cons between the two similar amps, and it'll ultimately come down to your own personal preference for which you choose. But since this is my video, I'm rating Keymaster with a 4 in magnitude, but a 3 in versatility, putting it in B tier, just under Lockbreaker. Backpack actually had me scratching my head for a while. I wasn't sure where I should place it. Backpack, unsurprisingly, increases your inventory space by 1 slot while equipped. Considering you only have 3 slots by default, 4 with a prescription, that's a pretty significant increase. More items means you'll be more prepared for any situation that crosses your path. As a bonus, it makes certain objectives, like throwing hearts at Futterman targets, or carrying around a microwave trigger, less punishing on your inventory. You can also offset the variators of psychosurgery and limited inventory, bringing you back to a more comfortable pocket size. The only downside, really, is that you're trading off an extra ability for an extra item, which isn't always the wisest trade-off. Then again, it's not often the worst trade-off either. I believe Backpack has earned a 4 in magnitude and 5 in versatility, landing it in A tier. The last of the tool amps, for now, is Short Circuit. Using a battery, large battery, or battery booster restores your rig by 10%, 50%, and 100% respectively. This is another one that's pretty difficult to rank, as it depends entirely on your equipped rig. For example, the X-Ray rig's cooldown is only 36 seconds when max leveled, so using a battery will only shave off 3.6 seconds from your cooldown, almost entirely worthless. In contrast, a level 1 stun rig has a cooldown of 180 seconds, meaning a battery will restore a whopping 18 seconds from your cooldown. These numbers become even more impressive if the psychosurgery or rig extended cooldown variators are active, even offsetting them entirely. This amp also effectively turns battery boosters into rig rechargers, an incredibly mediocre item into one of the best. The only real downside to this amp is that you become a battery-eating machine, so your teammates may end up losing their night vision eventually, but hey, it's totally worth it, right? Since I'm judging magnitude based on the amp's peak performance, Short Circuit gets a 5 in magnitude, but a 4 in versatility since it plays favorites with certain rigs. This lands Short Circuit in A tier, but honestly, I'm tempted to break my own rules and put it into S tier anyways. How about you guys in the comments let me know what you think? We're finally done with the tool amps, and it's time to move on to the skill amps. Starting us off, we have Hide and Breathe. When you enter a hiding spot, you instantly recover all of your stamina, and gain a short adrenaline effect, which boosts your movement speed and gives temporary infinite stamina. There is a cooldown in between activations, but it's not stated in-game, and I can't be bothered to count, really. This amp does have potential, and can save you in some niche scenarios. It's actually pretty good against the Exit Rush variator, but there are just too many downsides to take it seriously. You're given the adrenaline effect as you enter the hiding spot, meaning you'll waste a couple seconds of its already very short duration just crawling out. Also, why not just use an adrenaline syringe in these situations? They're not exactly uncommon, they last longer, and you can even use them during chase rather than preemptively. It's for these reasons I'll have to give Hide and Breathe a 2 in magnitude and a 1 in versatility, dropping it down to D tier. Next up is Hide and Heal. When you enter a hiding spot, you instantly restore 1 bracket of health, and instantly start regenerating another bracket if you are left on an uneven amount. This also has a short cooldown in between activations. Additionally, it stops bleeding effects. Importantly, Hide and Heal can only instantly restore 1 bracket of health for each time you take damage equal to or higher than 1 bracket, regardless of how many times you hide in a hiding spot. Meaning if you get hit and lose 1 bracket of health, you can instantly restore it. But if you get hit and lose 2 brackets of health at once, you'll instantly restore 1, but you'll need a healing item to fully heal again. Think of it less as an infinite health tool and more of a partial health refund. Even though it doesn't heal as much as you might like, it's still free healing. On the other hand, it's better to aim for an amp which would prevent you from taking damage at all, as stated before. Hide and Heal is going to get a 3 for magnitude and 2 for versatility, leaving its poor brother behind and ascending to C tier. Third and final of the Hiding Boost triplets, meet Hide and Restore. For as long as you're in a hiding spot, your rig recharges 50% faster, with no further conditions or a cooldown. This quickly makes Hide and Restore the golden child of the family, and makes it an inverse of Short Circuit. Where Short Circuit gives more value on long cooldowns, Hide and Restore makes short cooldowns pass in the blink of an eye. Anytime you're forced to wait, such as cutscenes, timed doors, nearby enemies patrolling, or waiting for your teammates to regroup, you get incredible value to restore your most powerful tool. I'm definitely biased here, but I feel Hide and Restore deserves a 5 on the magnitude scale, and a 4 in versatility, since you do still have to hide. And it'll rise above its siblings to A tier. This next amp I have never once used until testing for this video. Quick Escape restores your stamina and grants a speed boost when you take any amount of damage. Very fun fact, its speed boost is separate from that of an adrenaline effect, meaning they can stack together for insane mobility. While this is another amp that covers your mistakes, I feel that its capability to get you out of the sticky situations makes it more valuable than the healing-based amps I've already covered. There's really not a lot more to say about this one though. I'll say it gets a 3 for magnitude and 3 for versatility, barely making it into B tier. This next one I actually almost forgot about in recording and editing, so you're lucky I paid attention. A cousin to the 3 Hide and amps. Welcome to the stage, Invisible. With this equipped, when you peek out of a hiding spot, enemies will not notice you unless they are very close. The in-game description is somewhat deceiving, and that's because it was nerfed before my time, but never got its text updated. Anyways, that's not really any benefit to peeking out of a hiding spot. That's what leaning is for. Also, hiding spots are ironically not the best for hiding, since you always have the option of just staying in a dark area. If you want to peek at something, don't limit yourself to a static position in a random corner. Invisible is, frankly, just plain useless. 0 magnitude and 0 versatility makes Invisible fall to F tier. Let's have a conversation about Door Trap Breaker. While equipped, door traps break when you open the door normally, and automatically disarm if you slowly open the door. To really understand how bad this amp is, let's discuss door traps as a whole. For those who don't know, opening a trapped door while walking or running will force you into a button mash minigame, which drives you to psychosis if you fail. The thing is, door traps are incredibly obvious to notice from both sides of the door. From the glowing red light, the battery pack, and this giant spiked wood plank. Even if you somehow didn't notice the trap door, all you have to do to completely ignore every single door trap is crouch before opening. The trap flies over your head, missing you entirely, and you're not slowed down at all. Worse yet, Door Trap Breaker isn't even a noob trap, as by the level you unlock it, you'll have picked up on one of the strategies to avoid door traps. And that's just base kit, not even mentioning the jammer or stun rigs. Door Trap Breaker is about as useful as an alarm, which reminds you to blink every 8 seconds. Like, come on. 0 magnitude, 0 versatility, 0 reason to use it, or even mention its name again. It deserves lower than F tier, but I'm not that petty. Sorry about that, folks. Let's continue. Next up, we have Smash. While equipped, you can bash doors and barricades with a single strike, including locked doors, and even break co-op doors on your own. This is an insanely strong amp, especially for solo players. Not only does it help in chase by turning every door into an open doorway, you have more freedom to open shortcuts and play efficiently without being near your team. There is the downside that some trials don't have any significant co-op doors, like Poison the Medicine for example, but even the first half of the amp alone makes it worth using still. With 5 magnitude and 5 versatility, Smash joins noise reduction in S tier. Moving on to another fan favorite, Strong Arm makes thrown bottles as powerful as bricks, and thrown bricks even more powerful. In addition, thrown bricks will knock enemies all the way to the ground if you can land a headshot. In addition to being incredibly fun to get your revenge on the X-Pops, Strong Arm makes for the #1 means of self-defense for a player using any rig except stun. Honestly, you could even use it alongside stun if you're feeling extra sadistic. There is one small caveat, however, in that bricks break upon impact with an enemy. But when you pack the power of 2 bricks in 1 punch, you're really not losing out at all. 5 magnitude and 5 versatility are Strong Arm's entry ticket into the S tier party. Concluding the skill amps is Evasive Maneuver. With Evasive Maneuver equipped, anytime you are grappled, you gain damage reduction and break free quickly or instantly depending on the enemy's animation. While there is a cooldown in between uses, it's not enough to damage the power of this amp. You can forget about pushers, pouncers, imposters, and even the Jaeger Henrietta herself, as none of them can even start to damage you. If you're backed into a corner with no way to defend yourself or dodge, you can still jump into a hiding spot to ignore most damage, then stun whoever it was who snatched you up, making for a free escape. Don't assume you're invulnerable though. Traps, ranged weapons, and fall damage will check your ego very easily. It's earned 5 magnitude and 4 versatility, sitting on the highest horse of A tier. We're in the final stretch now, and I'll be covering the medicine amps. First up is Double Doses, and damn it. With double doses equipped, revive syringes can be used twice, and respawn pills give double respawns. Like, come on, really? In what world does a team die 10 times in one trial? I mean, 1 is uncommon, really. I guess reviving someone is impactful. Okay. I'll give it 1 magnitude and 0 versatility, just so that nothing can possibly be worse than Door Trap Breaker. F tier. Next up, we have Antitoxin. With it equipped, you'll regain sanity over time, and recover from a full psychotic episode twice as fast. While, yes, this is another mistake-correcting amp, I don't mind it quite as much. While health can be found literally anywhere, antidotes seem to only appear when you don't need them. And when you're literally insane, it's not easy to see much of anything. In addition, if you're in a Crest Twins trial, it's usually better to save antidotes for nausea. Antitoxin also does well to counter psychosis damage, no medical items, and the no items at all variators. Psychosis is also just really annoying, so it's nice and comfortable to have something which can easily deal with it. I'll admit Antitoxin isn't amazing, but it's much better than some things we've already discussed. I feel it's earned 4 magnitude, but 2 versatility, barely making it to C tier. It should be obvious I'm a little bit biased here, but I hope you can forgive me. Surplus is next in line, causing you to spawn with one of 4 random items: a brick, bottle, antidote, or small medicine bottle. You can never really complain about a free item, and you can definitely feel the impact with limited item variators. But Surplus is actually outclassed in terms of free items, and we'll get to that amp shortly. Surplus is by no means bad, but its random nature holds it back a bit, and outside of the aforementioned variators, there's often plenty of relevant items which can be found in the trial. Possibly the most balanced amp, Surplus gets a 3 in both magnitude and versatility in my eyes, landing it in B tier. There's a reason you'll see this next amp in every psychosurgery trial and escalation run. Last Chance allows the user to survive any amount of damage, with 1 health remaining, but it has a 5-minute cooldown after activating. When this activates, it also cancels bleed damage. It should be no surprise to anyone that I'm already announcing that Last Chance is an S tier. Though it does cover mistakes, it's easily the best at doing so, even beating out Evasive Maneuver due to it working against traps and ranged weapons. Unlike a future amp we'll talk about, Last Chance will also save you from losing a ton of points in the endgame tally due to death. Note that you cannot survive lethal fall damage, so don't try looking for any dangerous shortcuts. Regardless, Last Chance will be rated with a score of 5 in magnitude and versatility. Finally, we've reached my beloved Incognito. While equipped, Incognito increases the user's crouch speed, making it equivalent to walking speed. Need to duck under a trip mine or a noise trap? Need to sneak away in a dark room? Want to just look kind of silly as you move around? Incognito's got you covered. You can even pair Incognito with noise reduction to give the benefits of walking to crouching and running respectively. You can crouch walk quickly and run quietly. I'm not kidding, this amp is so powerful that it manages to power creep the concept of walking. I'm not biased. You are. S tier, 5 on both scales. Are you folks ready for a case of whiplash? Our next amp, Good Job, restores 1 bracket of health upon completing an objective. First of all, 1 bracket? That's it? And once again, nobody is really starved for healing, but if you are dead set on bringing a healing amp, at least you have control over hide and heal. And for some reason, this amp has a cooldown, as if it wasn't bad enough. And I'm not done yet. By the level you can unlock this, new players will both have learned how to take less damage, and how to find healing if they do. Also, your teammates can trigger this before you're ready, such as when you're downed. Do I really need to go on? I'll give it 1 magnitude since it does still heal, and it can be useful against no healing item variators. But 0 versatility, and it's earned an F tier. Okay, we can talk about something nicer now. Next up is Surplus's sexy older sibling, Boosted. You'll spawn with one of 3 random items: a health booster, a battery booster, or a stamina booster. Can you figure out why it's called Boosted? I shouldn't have to tell you how a 2 in 3 chance of getting a super powerful item which normally costs time and effort for free is super useful. Also, if you pair this with Short Circuit, the battery booster becomes useful too, guaranteeing you value from the moment you spawn in. It also helps that gambling is fun, truthfully. Boosted gets a 5 in magnitude and a 5 in versatility, and the exclusivity of S tier is but a bygone memory. Second to last, we have Self-Revive. After you die in a trial, you'll be able to revive once per trial in the same place you died. Obviously, this is a huge benefit, turning a loss into a second chance. It's especially relevant in solo matches. But the thing is, you still totally died, and your grade will take a massive blow. If you don't care about grade, that's fine, but still, it's not the best. It should be obvious, but it's better to just not die. Last Chance edges out Self-Revive, leaving Self-Revive with 5 magnitude, but 4 versatility, and it'll be an A tier. Finally, last but not least... No, certainly not least. We have Bandage Expert. While equipped, you apply bandages to yourself faster, and you can use a bandage twice. You might expect that my problem with this amp is that it's healing based, but no, actually. It's the fact that it's completely exclusive to bandages. You'll have to specifically seek them out and waste lots of your inventory holding them for a chance to force value out of them. It's just annoying and RNG heavy, frankly. That being said, it offers great healing when you do manage to pull it off, turning a half heal into a full heal. Bandage Expert gets a whole 5 magnitude, but 2 versatility. Our last piece of the puzzle being an B tier. And there we have it, everyone. That's all 27 amps in the Outlast Trials as of the time of recording. I have the full completed tier list up on screen now. Do you disagree with me? Do you really strongly agree with me? Either way, please let me know in the comments. I put a lot of work into writing and editing this video, so your interaction would mean a lot to me. And with all that being said, I hope to see you in the trials. Trust the therapy, and take care.